So ideas are very important for any business. To start a business, you need a strong idea. Many people say that you need finance and money is very important. And of course, finance and money, cash flow, very important. But we can argue that ideas are even more bigger, because if the idea is good, it can attract investors and so on. So you can have that type of discussion in your finance related sessions if you like. But here I would like to focus on a little bit on innovation. Like you would have some idea and you will develop your business on that, but then those ideas would need improvement as the time passes, as the space changes, especially in the domain of international businesses. What you are doing, you are changing your space. The idea is what it is, but you are experimenting with your ideas with more and more spaces, in other words, more and more locations or countries and so on. So in that ideas would need, you would need to establish some type of creativity in that. You would need to establish some type of innovation in that. Um, as a matter of fact, this creativity thing is so big that I personally feel that I could just do all the semester on creativity, like how to increase creativity, what are the things which people can do to be more creative. And you would watch the pre-recordings and those things in your own time which you did, and write the journals, and we could just focus on creativity, innovation, idea development, listen to your ideas, how to develop them, maybe start some type of prototype and that type of thing. So that would be, I think, very interesting way to practically look at international businesses. But we summer was short, and it would have been difficult maybe for you guys and for everyone maybe. But anyways, that could have been an interesting way to look at it. But anyways, I would like to focus on in next 2 hours or so, like this innovation thing. And maybe I thought that we should look at some company which is quite innovative, and over the years it has established itself as a wonderful international brand, and see how they go about innovation, at least the basics. So that is what we would like to do today. So Apple, of course, you guys know, it's quite a big international business. It has a very good reputation in terms of its the way the customer attach with the brand Apple. Maybe not so much in terms of the work pressures which you would feel if you are working for a company like Apple, but that is the thing which it goes hand in hand. And we established in earlier articles, for example, when we were talking about failure, if you fail, you can celebrate that failure. And the article made a very interesting point that you are not you are not celebrating failure, you are celebrating that learning which took place. And learning is more important than uh, actually being successful. Eventually you would want to become successful, but in the process, if you make some mistakes and you learn from that, nothing is really wrong in that. But the world is not, that is not how we do things, which is quite sad. Like, and there are many reasons for that, so you would have to pick those reasons in your own time. But let's focus on this title here, how Apple is organized for innovation. So what it would really mean is that you can have creative people in your company, you could have smart people, you yourself can have a very bright mind and all those things. But organization is a very big thing. How you lay out, how you organize different things, it can make a lot of difference. So even creative people would need some type of organization. But then there are other articles which establish that We did not look any article like that, but if you will do some search, you will find out that chaos is going to sometimes bring in some type of creativity or new idea development and so on. But if I start talking about it, it will take away from what I really want to focus on. And the focus is, as the title is saying, that what can we learn from a company like Apple, which has organized itself for innovation? So maybe we can take some leads from this type of reading, and maybe individually speaking, maybe bring some organization in our private personal life. Wherever we work, maybe we can put some type of structure organization there, uh, um, if possible, and at least have a know-how of how how the structure of a company like Apple is. At least the basics. Of course, everything cannot be covered in a short time, in one session, but it would be a good start maybe, and then you can read more about it. What I really want to say is that you will find out at the as we will go through the the article later on. If you will reflect, you will find out that the people who organized Apple, or who gave Apple the structure which could give them the type of innovation which other companies did not have, at least at that time. They brought in, like, the concept of, uh, for example, iPod. It was quite an interesting concept. You might not be in music and you might not have used iPod. To be honest, neither have I. I personally have not used any product of Apple, personally speaking. But that is a different thing. We we should see that the world, on a global scale, people really admired their products, and there must be some reason, like how they were able to give the right ideas in the right mind. And with ideas, it is quite difficult to really forecast, like what idea will work and what idea will not work. It's quite a big gamble, because you really don't know what will happen in the future. It's prediction, uh, it's forecast. It can be right, it can be wrong also. And that is why many projects fail of big companies. And in one article we were discussing these, where I showed you a couple of examples also. I think Google Plus, for example. Google started some social networking type of business, but it did not work. So sometimes it works, sometimes it does not work. But Apple is, of course, one company. No one really argues on that it's quite innovative in terms of new ideas. And so understanding their structure would be very nice. Yeah, what I was yeah, I was saying that you would realize at the end of at the end of if you will reflect after looking at the article, that the type of model, business structure, organizational structure, which Apple came up with and still continues to have, it is not taught in the business schools. It is not in the business books. So they made it. Yeah, the people who are working, they made this structure, looking at what is and what it is not. So that is, I think, very important key skill in, like, you what happens sometimes is that when we are reading the books and we are reading too much of academic writing, our mind stop thinking on outside. Like, we stop thinking on our own. Like, when you read, for example, organizational structure, flat or hierarchical or whatever, you might start thinking that this is what it is. And when you have to establish something, you have to pick something from this, because this is what we know. But that is going to negate the idea of innovation, because innovation is that you come up with something new on your own. Which, and look at the models. Like yesterday, I think the last time we were talking briefly about Airbnb, for example, their structure is not taught. It was not taught to those people in the school or something. Same thing with Apple. So I think that is the key message which I wanted you to maybe reflect on at the end of the article and so on. If you would have asked me what should I reflect on, I would have said that. But you feel free to what you would want to reflect on. Yes, yes, Cham Dawkins, please go ahead.
So I think the main point is that these textbooks that we're reading, these things are mainly based on the past, and the best ideas actually come from persons experiencing situations around them and seeing like problems. So and looking into the future, seeing what could be done. So when you go outside of that, then you get very innovative, and then these ideas last. So I think that is why Apple actually succeeds um, every day and continues to do so, because they're using ideas that continues to the future. It's not just something, it's not just a no thing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a lovely choice of words, Sham. Very good, excellent, beautiful. So, with that introduction, which Sham has helped us to look at, let's see what the article is. And please be mindful that at the end of the session or whenever, to get the better understanding of the article, you will have to read it, because there are many examples they have given in the article, which I would not be going through in when I am discussing. Uh, so you would have to see what examples they have given from within the company, and how they have linked it with one of the models also, which they have in the article, which I will talk about later. Okay, so Apple is well known for its innovation in hardware, software, and services. This is quite interesting because these are different domains: hardware, software, services. And if you think about companies, sometimes companies are good in services, sometimes they are good in uh, the manufacturing part, sometimes they are good in managing finance. But for a company to be good, as a matter of fact, innovative in various categories is quite interesting. Much less well known are the organizational design and the associated leadership model that have played a crucial role in the company's innovation success. And that is what we would like to talk about. So, this article, they are giving some examples here. You're going to look at in your own time. This article is going to discuss the innovation benefits and leadership challenges of Apple's distinctive and ever evolving organizational model, which may be useful for individuals and companies wanting to better understand how to succeed in rapidly changing environments. You might want to maybe look at this ever evolving. Yeah, so it is, even once they make some type of model, it is not static, it is quite dynamic, as the especially nowadays because of technology, things are really moving at a very faster pace. Um, and also the way Shamik explained us, and she was talking about books and stuff. It is I should really say this, that look at the books which we generally study in undergraduate, uh, how old those books are. As a matter of fact, once you, and that was the reason to, instead of going through book, I selected some articles on the topics I want to talk about, because the first books are not like up to date. That is the problem. And then to source the updated books, to get a version which you would have to buy it, and we don't have that type of resources available, maybe, if you want to look at the modern books. And the ones which are being taught, they need update, they need to be updated. So now those things, people would not do those things in a university setting, generally speaking, because there is no requirement to really do it. No one is really going to really push you on that, and these things get keep on delayed. And same thing is for the organizations. No one is really going to push the company that you have to be innovative, generally speaking. And that is why innovation is coming from specific countries or specific companies which are willing to spend a lot of money in research and development also. So in that perspective also, what I am thinking is that sometimes structure is even more important than the leader, if you think about it. You can think the way you want to think. I'm just giving you ideas. You can definitely disagree. There is, all of us are learning together. So the way I'm looking at it is that you 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 have a structure that the leader is there or not there, the company is structured in a way that it continues to do well even after the leader is gone. Maybe that is the job of a good leader, to put the company on a path that they keep on doing well even after the leader is gone. Think about it. Like, I'm not saying that leader is not important. Of course leadership is, of course, very important, no one can deny that. But I'm just saying that maybe even more important is structure, organization. Because what type of leader that is, who was very whose company was very successful as long as the leader was there, but once you remove the leader, the company is no more successful. So then all the credit goes to the leader. Oh, under his or her leadership, the company was doing great. But if you think about it, that leader, and that is true, of course, I'm not taking any credit from the leader at all. But that leader also did not put a structure that what is going to happen after me. He did not put that structure. So, and for many reasons, is that is the like the self praise everyone likes. Like, okay, when I was there, the company was doing good. When I moved on, the company is not doing good. You would like that. Imagine yourself in a position, you are leading some people, and as long as you are there, the team is team is doing doing well, and when you are not there, team is not doing well. So yes, very good that as long as you are there, the team is doing good. But true leadership might be that even when you are not there, the team continues to build on what you achieved. And that you can say to some extent for Honorable Steve Jobs, and that is why he's such a big personality in business, because he started something and it continues to do well after after him. And that is not true for even other big companies. Even if you look at, for example, Google, or some other big company, their top leadership in the early years when it came out, the company went a little bit down, and they had to sometimes come back, and so on. So some fear leaving the leaving the leaving the company. Okay, so this is something to really think about, that what type of leader would you want to be. Because then once you if you have established the structure, then there is another fear that then the company is not going to need you in that way, because you have established a structure for them. Then what is your purpose in the thing? So yes, that is a pertinent question, and that is why many times leaders don't make structures which go beyond their retirement, and so on. So I think that is a good question to to reflect on. Functional organization is the way in which Apple has set itself, like instead of units, it is functions. What is the function of the unit? So it is not that they are set like a department of iPod, one department for unit for iPad, one unit for Air, one unit for laptop, different type of laptops, and so on. That is not the structure they are following. They are following this functional structure, like what is the function. And it's okay if it is not clear to you as I'm speaking. By the end of the article, things will be more clearer to you what we mean by functional organization, and you will be able to compare like your current organization wherever you are working in Jamaica. It is not functional. It is unit. I'm not aware of any organization which is functional on functions. Maybe some departments or some units, but overall the it is units. Yeah. So Apple's main purpose is to create products that enrich people's daily lives, and that is the purpose. Yeah. That involves not only developing entirely new products categories such as iPhone and the Apple Watch, but also continually innovating within those categories. This is very important. Continuous. So there is no stop. You never stop on anything. Continuous improvement is something which you really need to be on that track. Perhaps no product feature better reflects Apple's commitment to continuous innovation than the iPhone camera. So for example, a unit would be looking at iPhone, but when you are looking at camera, then it is a function. So function of iPhone, one of the functions of iPhone is camera, but that function is also a function in maybe, not maybe, on their laptops also. So then the department will not be one iPhone and one Air laptop. The department would be camera, and in that camera they would be developing cameras. So that is a function, camera, and then they will be using those cameras across different products. That is what it really means in a nutshell, but things will be more clear as we go along. When the iPhone was introduced in 2007, Steve Jobs devoted only 6 seconds when it started to its camera in the annual keynote event for unveiling new products. Just spoke about the camera 6 seconds. If you look at their latest presentations or when they launch their products, you would see that a lot of time they spend on the cameras, but that is not how they started out maybe. Since then, since 2007, iPhone camera technology has contributed to the photography industry with a stream of innovation. Yeah. High dynamic range imaging, 2010, panorama photos, 2012, that is like 11 years ago. True tone flash 2013, optical image stabilization 2015, the dual lens camera 2016, portrait mode 2016, portrait lighting 2017, and night mode 2019 are but a few of the improvements, and all of them are improvements on the camera. So this also tells us that and now do you think 2019 they would have stopped? 2020 would have been something else. 2021, 2025 would be. They'll keep on. And you would agree that the cameras on phones have developed so much in let's say last 5, 6, 7, 10 years that now it gives you the functionality of a proper camera. Like people generally don't buy cameras the way they used to buy. Yes, of course, the photographers would still want to buy it for obvious reasons. Of course, it is like standalone device only to take pictures, so it has to be better. It cannot. It's the camera on the phone is a phone anyways. It's just added feature of camera, but you would agree that it has improved to a very big extent, and normal people like me and you Even if you like to take pictures, you would be very satisfied with a good quality camera on regular phones nowadays, and fewer people would like to maybe buy standalone cameras. So who knew, like 15 years ago, who knew that there are going to be cameras on phones and stuff like that? And now there are many other things which phones can do, and we don't necessarily use it. But anyways, function. So this is what it's a function. The phone, the camera. Yeah. So this is how they would organize their setup. Organization of Apple is that on different functions, the company would be organized on that. Like for example, camera. So if this is the function, then experts on camera, they would be working on cameras which would not be working together if there were different units like iPhone unit, iPad unit, Air laptop unit, and so on. So that is not units. It is camera, and the function is camera. So functional organization. That is what it is trying to say. And then they have given some examples in the next page. So you are going to read through those examples. What I want to focus on is that what are the three leadership characteristics which we can maybe learn a thing or two on that. Uh, yeah. So let's look at that. Ever since Steve Jobs implemented the functional organization, Apple's managers at every level from senior vice president to down have been expected to possess three key leadership characteristics. Yeah. It's very interesting to note what are those three key characteristics. Of course, there will be so many things, but what are the things they are focusing on? Deep expertise that allow them to meaningfully engage in all the work being done within individual function. So the camera is the individual function, yeah, of the product. So deep expertise that allow them to meaningfully engage in all the work being done with their individual function. So all the work being done on the camera, and there is quite a few work which needs to be done to make the camera better and better and better. The examples are here, so you will want to read those examples in your own time. That is number one. Immersion in the details of those function, like your ability to immerse yourself in that. And here I would like to argue that it is, of course, my point of view. You don't have to agree at all. Like how someone can immerse if they also want work-life balance. Yeah. How you can immerse if you want to spend, like every evening you want to spend time with your family 3-4 hours, and how you can immerse if you are going to leave work at 4:30 every day. Yeah. Yeah. That is something which I am trying to find the answer for. Yeah. Number three, and a willingness to collaboratively debate over functions during collective decision making. So the willingness, openness to collaboratively debate. What is a debate? You say something and I say something, and these are very, 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 very smart people. Experience in terms of qualification, in terms of their certification. They are experts in their field. If they were not experts, Apple would not hire them anyways. So experts debating, experts. Yeah, you have to really think about it like that. But that is, then you will maybe able to reflect on that willingness, because once you are an expert, it's very difficult for you to look at the thing from other perspectives. Yeah, very difficult. So that ability, I think, is very, very important for new idea development. Otherwise, it is just like, they say listening is very important. Listening, properly listening, just listening without thinking anything in your head, without preparing your answer, what you are going to really say as a response. Like, please do this exercise when you are like someone is talking with you. Just ask yourself, like, are you really listening, or what is your mind doing? Are you like 100% listening? Like, just do that exercise, like when you are talking with someone, especially. Yeah, like even now you can do it, like I'm trying to talk with you and whatever, but it's not a like, it's not a like I, even now you can experiment, like are you really listening and listening, or your mind is saying things to you, whatever it is. So if your mind is saying things to you, then you are not listening, and you are you are talking with yourself. You are listening also, but you are, it's more about your talking, like how to have a quiet mind where you don't you just listen. So do this exercise with like someone, like friends, family, or even after the session, like parents saying something, or your siblings, or wherever you are. See if that, so that is why they say that listening is important, and many people don't listen because they value their own opinion more than the at least at the subconscious level, because you really have to have very less ego about your own brilliance to really think about, listen to what other person is saying. And most of the time we are, and imagine if you are an expert in the field and then you are listening to someone without talking to yourself, that is going to really. And if you look at the life of Honorable Steve Jobs, you would see that he would come in the meeting with his own ideas, and if he's seeing that his idea is not making as much sense as the idea of other person, then he's going to like go back and renegotiate uh, whatever the thought process is. That is, I think, that is very important skill to have, no matter what we do in life. uh, I'm working on it, personally speaking. I hope that you will also maybe think about it. Yeah, so these are the three things: deep expertise that allow them to meaningfully engage in all the work being done with their individual functions, immersion in the details of those functions, and a willingness to collaboratively debate other functions during collective decision making. Yeah, when managers have these attributes, decisions are made in a coordinated fashion by the people most qualified by to make them. Yeah, so it is the most qualified person who, so experts leading experts, that is the underlying principle they are trying to highlight. So let's go through these 3 pointers um, in the next 20 minutes or so. Of course, I'm going to skip the examples. You will have to read to look at the examples they have been talking about in the article. So deep expertise. Apple is not a company where general managers oversees managers. Please pay attention. Rather, it is a company where experts lead experts. The assumption is that it is easier to train an expert to manage well than to train a manager to be an expert. At Apple, hardware experts manage hardware, software experts software, and so on. The concept of general manager who is managing things in a general way is not something which Apple is going for. Of course, they have managers, and we will go through that section in more detail as we go. So you will have to wait till the end of the article to fully grasp what is happening at Apple. At Apple hardware, okay, deviations from this principle are rare, but they do happen every now and then. But this is the general mechanism when we are talking about deep expertise. This approach cascades down all levels of the organization through areas of ever increasing specialization. Yeah, and that is where the point comes, like as you become specialist in one area, at that point in time, how to listen to other ideas and so on. Apple's leaders believe that world class talent wants to work for and with other world class talent in a specialty. It's like joining a sports team where you get to learn from and play with the best. So pay attention to this, where you are. It is not those specialists also who are experts in their field. They are already world class talent, but still they want to work with those type of people with whom they can learn. you know it is like you are expert in the field. Let's say you are expert. Lorraine is expert in some field, and then Alano is expert in one field. So now they are working together, but Alano does not want to go just like he's the expert and he's good with the job. No. Now he only want to work with other people who are experts in the field. So if I come in whatever they are doing. So if I come in the team and I'm not expert in anything, then Alano would not want to work in that team, because then Alano is thinking that I am the expert, yes, but what am I learning from this experience? So those people, of course, are highly paid and so on, but they pay special attention to learning, and they know that they are the experts, but they want to be in the environment where they can learn from other experts. That is the mindset. Yeah, very interesting. Early on, Steve Jobs came to embrace the idea that managers at Apple should be experts in their area of management, and this is Steve Jobs' idea. Yeah. As a matter of fact, you should look at the management, and you should read in detail the management style and all of those type of things about Steve Jobs. Yes, there are, you're going to find some negatives, of course, like, and they are not negatives, like he was very less room for inefficiencies, and he would let go anyone if they are not at the top, playing at the best level. Yes, but it's not they are not negatives. Of course, like if your mind is like at the working at the top and other people are not putting in all of the effort, and you see it, then of course it will be difficult for you to work with them. Yeah. So in a 1984 interview, he said, "We went through that stage in Apple where we went out and thought, oh, we are gonna be a big company, let's hire professional management." And that is what happens in the companies where you and me work. They looking for good managers who can manage other people, and there is a lot of uh, information which supports that, managers, good managers, how they play the role in the company's success and all of those type of things. So Honorable Jobs is saying, we went out and hired a bunch of professional management. It did not work at all. They knew how to manage, but they did not know how to do anything. Yeah. And by this, of course, they knew many things, but I believe, the way I'm looking at it, what he means is they were not the experts in their field also. So you have to be expert in something also. If you are a great person, why do you want to work for somebody you cannot learn anything from? The, very interesting. If you are a great person, if you are really great in what you do, why do you want to work for somebody you cannot learn anything from? Actually, this is a mindset. So most people, what happens, they want to be the shining star in the room. Most people, generally speaking, like they, if you are in the team and people say, oh, this this team, Shanique is the brightest person. Yeah, let's say if people are saying that. So Shanique would be happy about this and she will say, yes, very good. But the other mindset of would be that Shanique says, well, if I am the smartest person, then what am I doing in this room? What am I going to really learn? I don't need to be the smartest person. To increase my smartness, I need to be with people who are smarter than me. But that does not, we don't do that. We don't do that. Generally speaking, generally speaking. So reflect on this. A very interesting point. And you know what is interesting? You know who the best managers are. They are the great individual contributors who never ever want to be a manager but decide they have to be because no one else is going to do as good a job, and then they give some examples which you can look into. In a functional organization, experts leading experts means that specialists create a deep bench in a given area where they can learn from one another. Experts, specialists in a given area where they can learn from one another. Yeah. For example, Apple's more than 600 experts, 600, not 600 casual workers, 600 experts. My God, everyone cannot take that. I'm just imagining myself like whatever little expertise I have, if I'm working with a team which has same type of expertise in at the level where I am, wherever I am, I don't consider myself to be expert in anything anyways, but I'm saying whatever my level is, at that level, if I am working with even 6 people, forget about 600, it's going to be very challenging. Going to be very challenging. On camera hardware technology, work in a group led by Graham, a camera expert. Yeah, because iPhone, iPad, laptops, and desktop computers all include cameras. These experts would be scattered across product line if Apple were organized in business unit. And I think I tried to explain you earlier, but you can read this more carefully. Like if it was a unit of iPhone, unit of iPad, unit of laptop, unit of desktop, then every unit would have their own people working on cameras. But this is not how they are working. They are looking at a function. So camera is one function common in all these offerings, and then that would be the function, camera development, or whatever they want to call it. And then 600 experts, for example, are going to really go in depth. And we know that Apple's cameras, iPhone camera, are quite interesting. Yeah, that would dilute their collective expertise, reducing their power to solve problems and generate and refine innovation if they were different units. But that is not the case. So at this point in time, so this is how they are looking at uh, deep expertise, and I want to show you the here Apple's functional organization. Yeah, I hope it will make more sense now after looking at that. This was 1998. They have like function, hardware is a function, software is a function, marketing and so on. So it's function, and this is 1998. That's like 20, 23, 24 years ago. Yeah. And everyone is reporting directly to the CEO. Of course, there will be vice presidents and so on, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. And 2019, like now, in recent times, they still have same type of functions, but of course the functions have increased in numbers. But uh, so they have increased the numbers, but they have the same type. So it's not units. You are not seeing different units. You are not saying like manager and assistant manager, and this, of course, this is a simple form. If you will look at in detail, they have VPs, vice presidents, and so on. Some statistics are there in the article. You can look at those, but this is in the nutshell. I think this is the major idea. Pay attention to this: machine learning and artificial intelligence. The role of AI is increasing in all domains, not just technology related things. Anything you can think about, any business you can think about, AI is something. Some people are working on artificial intelligence, so that is, I think, a good field to reflect on. So now, but what I wanted to say, like in the beginning, I was saying that look at this structure. I am sure, I have no doubt, that if you would make this type of structure in your final exam and someone is marking your paper, what do you think they're going to say? Including myself. I'm not saying that I would look at it differently. Not trying to be smart or anything. Including myself. Anyone would have looked at this. They would not have given you a good score. Like they would say, what is this? CEO and nothing is after that? Like straight going to design? What is this? You did not look at it like this. Yeah? This is what anyone would say, including myself. Generally speaking. Generally speaking. Yeah. And even you would not dare to make this type of diagram, generally speaking. That, okay, this is, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Because it is your final exam, why would you draw a diagram like this? There is nothing here. So it's too much pressure on CEO. Yeah, how much knowledgeable the CEO has to be in all different type of domains to really see what is going on. Have to be quite, yeah. This is something to really reflect on, and this also partially answers that why sometimes these people, they don't they drop out from universities, and what happens, and they drop out from top schools, they drop out, they don't complete their degree. Why? Even the people there, they are unable to understand their diagrams. They say, what is, don't make sense. And then they go out in the world and then they make make it work. And it does not work in the beginning. Look at any company. Do you think that Apple CEO Steve Jobs created this and it started working? Nothing like that. Read the history of Apple company. Read the history of Amazon. I think many quarters went for Amazon and Amazon did not show profit. But what is the name of Amazon guy? Something is happening to my memory. I keep forgetting names. But so Amazon top guy, the for many for uh, for many uh, quarters there was no uh, there was no uh, profit to show, but he kept on pressing that. So it is because of these type of ideas. Yes. uh, so what I really want to say is that when you have some idea and you are really passionate about it and you think it makes sense after listening to other people's comments, of course, listen to other people. There is nothing, take opinion of other people, you should. But after taking opinion and everything, even when people are saying it is not going to work, but you believe that it can work, please go ahead with that. Try. See what happens. Give it 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. See where it goes. It's your idea. It's your thought. Other people take their opinion. If it makes sense, don't do it, of course. What I'm trying to say, if it makes sense to you, uh, then work on it, and don't expect early success. Don't expect that you will start and everything will work. Of course, it is not going to work right away, but you have to then see and what. But protect your idea. That is what I'm uh, trying to trying to say. Yes, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. Honorable Jeff Bezos. I think that Apple has really done is to take the concept of specialization and efficiently improve the concept. Yes, very good. Specialization, experts leading the experts. Very good, Shamik. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So let's look at the second point. So first point was deep expertise. Yeah. And then other things are mentioned in that, like experts taking other people's opinion and so on. Yeah, immersion in the details. Yeah, one principle Apple follows: leaders should know the details of their organization 3 levels down. 3 levels down. Leaders, they should know the details of their organization 3 levels down. Like, look at 3 levels down. It's like, imagine your wherever you are working, who is 3 levels down than you. Yeah. Even if you are junior staff, there will be like people down you, like there would be like maybe this, if you go down all the way, maybe security people are all the way down in terms of scale or whatever. Like, so do you know the details of how those people work on their job? What is their work like? You have the details, not just the random knowledge. Details of their organization 3 levels down, not just the job, not your job, at the organizational level, 3 levels down. It's quite, quite, quite like it's difficult. It's difficult because you have to do your own job also, and it takes a lot of time. How are you going to find? But this is the principle on which they work on. Principle, yeah. Leaders should know the details of their organizations 3 level down. If you listen to Honorable Steve Jobs interviews, he literally knew like everything about his company. Of course, he was not expert in everything, but he really knew how different jobs are being done and what is happening and so on, because that is essential for speedy and effective cost functional cross functional decision making at the highest level. When you are at the highest level, at a higher level, if you are looking at cross functional decision making, you need to know how the things are being done at an organizational level, three three levels down. Yeah, and then they are giving very interesting examples. You can read that in your own time. Having leaders who are experts in their areas and can go deep into the details has profound implications for how Apple is run. And I'm happy that Shamik, I think, was making same type of comment. Yeah, so you can think about that. Leaders can push, probe, and smell an issue. They would only be able to do that if you have good understanding organization wide how different jobs are being done. They know which details are important and where to focus their attention. And please be mindful, we are not talking about ordinary people. Yes, everyone is ordinary, but these are people who are hired by Apple. Like, it's quite a thing to be hired by some company like that. It's quite a thing. Of course, luck and destiny and those things are, I believe on that, but they must be good in something also. Yeah, generally speaking. Many people at Apple see it as liberating, even exhilarating to work for experts who provide better guidance and mentoring than a journal manager would. Jen, what I'm essentially trying to say that if you look at your own organization, of course you will be getting guidance and mentoring, but is your general manager expert in their field? Like they are expert level people and they have knowledge across functions, and are the debates happening in a cross functional way? And maybe you are lucky and you have some general manager in your department, but is it that all managers in different departments are like your manager? It can happen that maybe someone is an expert in their field. Yeah, maybe it is possible, but then for whole organization to run like that and everyone is like experts dealing with experts at a higher level, yeah, it's it's quite interesting. Together, all can strive to do the best work of their lives in their chosen area. So that the interest in the job, the other things which we have been discussing in other articles, like the passion, it is not just about salary, their love for the pride they take in creating the making the product better, more emphasis on learning, self improvement, no problem if their idea is get shot down by another expert, no problem, they learn something from that, less ego, all of those things has to combine together, all of those things. So but then again, not all workers at Apple, I would like to think not all workers would have those qualities, but a decent number would have those type of qualities, a decent number. Yeah, so that was second point. Let's look at the third one, willingness to collaboratively debate. That willingness, openness, that okay, we can debate on different things, and it's not about whose idea it is. It is that the best idea should work. And in one session I was saying that if the goal or purpose is same, then it becomes easier for people to see that their idea is not good, best for the company. If you and me debate, like we are having exchange of opinion and you are saying something else, I am saying something else, so in that case if our purpose is common, like to improve our learning and nothing else, if I'm comfortable that what I am saying, if that is at the end of the day it is not correct, and then how you will assess me that how stupid he is to make that comment or something like that, I should be safe on that. So in those respect I was saying in one session, I can recall that if the purpose or objective is same, then it becomes easier uh, to uh, it becomes easier in those type of situations. And what is the purpose of Apple? Yeah, if you recall, I think they were saying something about it. I'm trying to. Yeah, Apple's main purpose is to create products that enrich people's daily lives. In the discussions or debate, they are thinking about this. Yeah, is the main purpose. So the focus is on how to make how to enrich their life if they are going to take a picture from the camera, how to enrich their experience. And when you will look at the, so because everyone's goal is that is the purpose for them to come together, then if my idea does not win and your idea wins, it does not matter, because our purpose is something else. It is not that our purpose is to defend our ideas. Yes, if you think that your idea is going to enrich the people's lives in a better way, then of course you're going to try to defend it. But at the end of the day, the emphasis is not on self. And that is why I was saying in one of the sessions that these are essentially these qualities which we which we are trying to develop. These are we learn these qualities somewhere else, not in school or like at home. So what is the how important the parenting becomes? Now, what has parenting to do with international business management? What it has to do? Apparently there is no connection, but if you look deep, it has a lot to do with your early life and so on. But let's continue with the third pointer, which is willingness to collaborate, debate. Apple has hundreds of specialist teams, hundreds of specialist teams across the company, dozens of which may be needed for even one key component of a new product offering. So please remember that it is not the unit, it is functions, even if the components. So on a component, you want to improve this component, you would make a team of specialists who make that component, and then they will work on that. For example, the dual lens camera with portrait mode required the collaboration of no fewer than 40 specialist teams. 40. Yeah. Silicon design, camera software, reliability engineering, motion sensor hardware, video engineering, core motion, and camera sensor design, to name just a few. How on earth does Apple develop and ship products that require such coordinations? Is the 40 specialist teams just on one area they are talking about? The answer is collaborative debate. Collaborative debate. Collaboration. And as you have seen, the as you have seen in the recordings, for example, I would just pose a question. I would not want to say what is, like, for example, what is regional economic integration and explain them this is what regional economic integration is. I don't think I did that. I would start the session, say a couple of things, and ask them, what do you think regional economic integration is? How regional economic integration has impacted your life? I'm just asking them questions, not really lecturing them, to be honest. And then they come in and they say, and then you must have seen how the discussion is like changes, like how much you can learn from those type of discussions. Different people are giving different point of views, and I was just giving them feedback, trying to encourage them, like even if some point is not very very solid, I would just try to make it part of the conversation and see where it goes. So what is that? Is that it's at some level a collaboration of different people. Yeah. So that comes from the idea that if I speak and I just speak alone, then the learning is not going to be the best. The best learning would be that everyone says what they feel, and at the end we understand what is regional economic integration from the whole conversation. Yeah, from everyone's point of view. Yeah, and in that it becomes a two-way process, because in every session I am also learning from them, and they are learning from each other. And maybe I am also making some points here and there. Yeah. So now imagine that you do that type of exercise with experts who are experts in regional economic integration, which is one of the topics. Experts, 60 experts, and a debate opens. What type of conversation that is going to be? It's gonna blow your mind. If you can't take criticism easily, it's going to be very difficult, challenging for you to survive. You're going to say, no man, I can't work in with these people. Yeah, that's very interesting. Because no function is responsible for a product or a service on its own, cross-functional collaboration is crucial. When debates reach an impasse, as some inevitably do, higher level managers weigh in as tiebreakers, including at times the CEO himself and the senior vice presidents. To do this at speed with sufficient attention to detail is challenging for even the best of leaders, making it all the more important that the company fill more senior positions from within the ranks of its VPs who have experience in Apple's way of operating. However, given Apple's size and scope, even the executive team can resolve only a limited number of stalemates. The many horizontal dependencies mean that ineffective peer relationship at the VP and directors level have the potential to undermine not only particular projects but the entire company if they are not okay with this process, and they have like ego problems or something like that. Consequently, for people to attain and remain in a leadership position within a function, they must be highly effective collaborators, not just collaborators, effective. How to take different viewpoints together. That does not mean people cannot express their points of view. Leaders are expected to hold strong, well grounded views and advocate forcefully for them, yet also be willing to change their minds when presented with evidence that others' views are better. Yeah. Doing so is not always easy, of course. I would say it is extremely difficult. A leader's ability to be both partisan and open minded is facilitated by two things: deep understanding of the of and devotion to the company's values and common purpose. We just spoke about that a while ago. It's very important. And a commitment to separating how right from how hard a particular path is, so that the difficulty of executing a decision does not prevent its being selected. In other words, you don't leave an idea because it is hard to do. It's very hard to do this, so you leave this. No, it's right. If it is right for the company, you do it. If it is not right, you don't do it. Just like in life, every time in life, we always know which path is right and which path is wrong. But many times in life, we take the easier path, which might not be the right path. Yeah. Now you can reflect in your life, I'm sure you have gone through those crossroads. You know what is right and what is wrong, but you are still doing something which is maybe not the best thing to do. Yeah. Okay, they are giving some examples here. I don't want to go through the examples. I'm going to look at it in your own time. Look at the examples and stuff. Quite a few examples are there. Um, Apple's collaborative debate involves people from various functions who disagree, push back, promote or reject ideas, and build on one another's ideas to come up with the best solution. It requires open mindedness from senior leaders. It also requires those leaders to inspire, influence, colleagues in other areas to contribute towards achieving their goals. Yeah. Difficulty was not an acceptable excuse for failing to deliver what would clearly be a superior user experience, and I spoke about it a while ago. It's not what is difficult and you leave it, no. Or it is hard to do, no. It's not how they select the things. And this is interesting point to know, those who don't or cannot change their behavior are removed from leadership positions, if not from Apple altogether. The author has been very kind to say that if not from Apple, based on my readings, the way Steve Jobs would run it, if people cannot change their behavior according to how the major points are made in the article, he's going to let them go, and let them go publicly, and even sometimes humiliate people. And that was his leadership style. But he's performing at the top level, and he want to work with people who are also performing at the top level. And now the question here is that this leadership at scale, this is what I want to spend some time on. Now, as the company would grow, more and more functions, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So the challenges start coming, of course, and that is what this section is going to talk about. As the company has grown, entering new markets, international businesses, and moving into new technologies, its functional structure and leadership model have had to evolve. Deciding how to organize areas of expertise to best enable collaboration and rapid decision making has been an important responsibility of the CEO. Best enable collaboration, rapid decision making. Yeah. I was talking with someone who is a big expert in their field, and I was asking for some tips or things like that, what you learned in life and any things you can tell me. And that guy told me, I think, 6 things. He's a very top expert in their field. Yeah. And one of the things I can recall is that he said that develop develop the capability to make decisions accurately in a fast way. So make fast, accurate decisions. So they should be fast and they should be accurate. If they are fast but not accurate, that is wrong. If they are accurate and you take time, no. Need to develop the capability of making fast decisions, should be accurate also. That is again a very fascinating topic for international business managers, how to do that. Yeah, you should read on that if you are interested. And yeah, these are some numbers I was referring to, that it's a big company now, so you can look at these numbers. And vice presidents, we have like around 100 vice presidents as we speak. I think this data is 2019. Yeah. And then these are examples. You're going to look at explanation of the model. You're going to read the details in your own time. They are giving some examples, but I'm going to look at the conclusion and then look at the model after that. Yeah. So Apple's functional organization is rare, if not unique, among very large companies. Yeah, and you would agree. It flies in the face of prevailing management theory that companies should be reorganized into divisions and business units as they become large. And this is why I was saying that locally speaking, you're not going to find companies where this function, it is different units, different divisions, and so on, and things are happening in a good way. But like, that's just for, it's not the best example, but just for the sake of easiness, you would have different departments in your company, and every department would have project managers. Yeah, and they will be doing the projects in their department. So how Apple is going to do, they are going to pick the function and make it as a one function in project management, for example. And then all the project managers are who are working on that function, they will be working together. And then they need to be experts. So you need to hire experts in that field also. So again, that is not a luxury which local companies afford, because they want to hire all a mix of talent. Not they can't also pay the experts, and why expert would want to work with them also. Yeah. And so this is something which only a company which can afford to do this type of, who had the resources, they can do it. But think about it, Apple was not always rich, or Amazon or Facebook, or uh, they became rich through their business. Before their business, they don't come from extremely rich families, as much as I can recall. But correct me if I said something wrong. And generally speaking, they are like, middle class. You can have average jobs and stuff. Yes, they are knowledgeable. They are good. Like if they are engineers, they are good software engineers and so, and they are earning good money, but not like filthy rich type of families or something like that. You can say they were smart, but not rich, and they made money through the business. But then they came up with these type of models from day one. And another thing which that expert told me, one was that make decisions, uh, correct decision fast. Another thing I can recall, he told me six things, and two of the things are just so relevant right now, just coming in my mindset. One other thing he said to me is that always work with the best, always work with the best, always hire the best person, always hire the best person, always work with the best. Yeah. It's quite interesting. Yeah, very interesting. But sometimes something vital gets lost in a shift to business units, the alignment of decision rights with expertise. Pay attention to this, the alignment of decision rights with expertise. In simple words, who is going to make the decision? Who has the right to make decisions? So experts have the right to make decisions in the field. And experts collaboratively discuss all the things, and then from there they decide something. And in the event when they have some type of issue, then the CEO is going to come in and help them. And then the CEO should be very knowledgeable in all different domains of the business, and all decisions will be made in a collaborative fashion. It is not who is saying what is being said, it is the idea. It is, I was listening to one of the interviews of Steve Jobs, Honorable Steve Jobs, and he said that is the best idea which should win, is the best idea which should win. Yeah. So best idea will only win when your purpose is not yourself, your own fame. Otherwise, it cannot. Think about it. It's not possible. Then otherwise, it will be my idea. I am saying this, so listen to me because it is my idea. So my idea should, and you must have seen it in your group works or those type of things when you group with a team, and how people are, they hold their ideas very close to their. So in another article on, for example, on forecasting, because ideas are, you forecast which idea will work and which idea will not work. It was hold strong ideas loosely. Yeah, it is that concept. Why do companies so often cling to having general managers in charge of business units? One reason we believe is that making the change is difficult. It entails overcoming inertia, reallocating power among managers, changing an individual oriented incentive systems, and learning new ways of collaborating. Because these things will have to, how will you decide who gets incentives when the things are decided on, like for example this way of methodology? Like, it's very difficult. You can do it, but you would have to change the structure uh, of incentives, for example. This That is daunting when a company already faces huge external challenges. And please be mindful that all these things you are doing, and then you have a competition also. It's a business, you have competition, they are coming with their products, you have 1000 other problems to deal with as a business. So you are doing all those things also, as you are dealing with the things or the issues which this type of model is going to bring you. So unless you don't have people who are really, really, really passionate about your work, it cannot work. Not possible. Because you're going to give up. You're going to, like, yeah, different type of characteristics are required. Uh, So when I think about these things, then I just think that this work-life balance is quite hard, and it's not for people who, and it is my personal point of view. Work-life balance is not for the people who really want to excel in something. Like, look at the corporate structure even in Jamaica. Like, people who are really, really, really doing good and they are up in their game, are they also up in all aspects of their life, like their personal, how is their personal private lives, how is, like, where their majority of the time goes? Yeah, it's quite interesting to reflect on it. So what I'm trying to say, you can be top in anything, you can make your businesses successful and become a big international business and so on, but it is going to require a lot of price. And that price is not, people want to gain the price, but the price is difficult to pay. An immediate step may be to cultivate the experts leading experts model even within a business unit structure. You can try this out. For example, when filling the next senior management role, pick someone with deep expertise in that area as opposed to someone who might make the best journal manager. Pick someone who has deep expertise in that role. But a full-fledged transformation requires that leaders also transition to a functional organization. Apple's track record proves that the reward may justify the risks. Its approach can produce extraordinary results, but it is a may. Our discussion is not in any way saying that you should do this with your ideas, or with your, if you are a manager of business or international business, you should try to do these type of things. That is not what the purpose of this conversation was. The purpose was just to highlight uh, how a company like Apple, they have structured their operations. And I have left this one as we conclude. Would like to look at, please pay attention to this beautiful diagram. And when you will look at the examples, they have explained a discretionary leadership around here. So you would have to read this in your own time. I just want to discuss this model which comes. So what they have done, they have interviewed one of the guys, Apple's VP of applications, Roger, uh, and from there how he spends his time. They call it discretionary leadership. How he spends his time in doing the tasks. So now you look at this, and then you can compare to how you as manager, if you are a manager, or your managers, how do they spend their time and what is the difference and so on. You can reflect on that. Yeah. So what it is saying on the top here, you are saying highly involved in the details. So one is highly involved and one is not highly involved. Yeah. And on one spectrum, it is high expertise, and on other, low expertise. So they are looking at in which activities as a vice president you would be highly involved, and which activities you are not highly involved in the details, and then where you have high expertise and where you have low expertise. So these are the four dimensions they are looking at. Yeah. So let's look at this one, owning. So here you are, these are different ideas in the platforms of Apple, UI design, software, or news, and so on. So in this one, like collaborating with others, for example, highly involved and high expertise. So the VP Roger in this example, he's highly involved in these projects or tasks, yeah, or components, whatever you want to call them, and he has high expertise also. 40% of time he's spending on things where he's highly expert and he's highly involved in those. Yeah. And then he's spending 15% of time in teaching, yeah, where he is highly experienced but not highly involved in the details. So he's not teaching in the way like this is the lesson and let me teach you what is culture, what is the role of culture in whatever we are trying to do. No, he is listening to other people how they are doing their job and then giving them some type of mentorship, some type of guidance, seeing so they are doing the things on their own also. So he's not highly involved in the details. He's not highly involved in the details of teaching. Yes, not highly involved. Yeah, but he has high expertise. So in that he is also grooming or preparing other people also. So 15% of time here. And then learning, highly involved in the details of learning, but low expertise. So he's at a top position, VP, Vice President after CEO. And we just saw that there are only 96 VPs. VPs 96, 2019 data. Call it 100. Yeah, he's one of the 100 people in Apple, and this is how he is spending his time. So in learning, 30% of that time in learning. So think how a general manager operates. General manager does not have in a regular company, does not put 30% of the time in learning. That is quite a lot of time. Yeah. So he's highly involved in this, and he realized that I have low expertise in these things. So I'm going to learn and I'm going to dedicate 30%. And please remember that this person is expert in their field, but he's trying to learn the other areas, and this is how they are growing over a period of time. Yeah, very interesting concept. And then 15% of the time in delegating. Yeah. So delegating the things where he has low expertise, he does not know a lot in that, so he's delegating those, and he's don't want to be highly involved in those things also. So those things he's saying that okay, let me delegate, let me outsource those tasks to other people. So this is a rough estimation of the example which they gave in the article, which you will read in detail your own time. But this is what it is explains. From there, they are discretionary leadership style. You should read on this and reflect on this. And no matter what you do in your, and this model is not like all the VPs are going to use that. No, it is not like that. It is this VP which they took the application. This is how he is using. So some other manager would see based on circumstances, based on job demand in that time zone. There are so many things, and you would have to reflect on it. But you and me, no matter what we do in our life, we should think about this, like how the time is allocated. Because think about it, life, what is life? Yeah, I was thinking about it one day, and I well, there are many thoughts I had, and one of the thoughts which I can share with you is that life is essentially time. It is nothing else. It is time, from the time you are born to the time you will die. So it is time. You can, instead of using the term life, you can use the term time. So the biggest question, I was self-reflecting and I was thinking that the biggest question is how to use my time. Where do I use my time? How I allocate my time. Everyone has 24 hours. Where do I use my 24 hours? That is the main question in life. Yeah, that is how I was reflecting on this. You can reflect the way you want. So if that is correct, so then you this is how he is using his time. 40% in owning, collaborating in the things, 30% time in learning, 15% time in mentoring, teaching, guiding, 15% of the resources or time in delegating. Yeah. So where is the emphasis? A big emphasis on learning. Although the person is expert, 30 and 40 quite close, and then rest of the time divided. And of course, this is you can see where it goes. So now, and this is someone who is expert. I really want to reiterate this point. So like, how do you divide your time now? You have to reflect on this. How do you divide your time in your life? Forget about international business for a moment. Generally speaking, how do you allocate your time? You wake up, you what do you do? Like what is how you are reading the book? Like what is happening? What different things you do, how you allocate the time. So this is how a VP at Google, this is how they are. And the source is Apple. Yeah. So it's a rough draft of what is happening. So these were some things which I wanted to highlight. Uh, how Apple is organized for innovation. Uh, you can of course read in more detail. This was just one article. If you This type of information is easily available online. You can go on their company website. You can listen to the interviews of different vice presidents. For example, you can listen or find out like what are the things Apple is working on for the future idea development, because those cameras and those things, they were from the past. So going forward, what are the things they are working on, and what how they are going about that? You can see, of course, everything will not be available, but you will get some ideas like what are the future projects and so on. Yeah, and you can also reflect on what are the challenges of this type of function, and um, how they mitigate uh, these type of challenges which come from this type of organizational structure. Uh, and you can think about the leadership characteristics like deep expertise, uh, immersion in the details, willingness to collaborate, debate. And in doing all of this, you should also pick some area in your life and try to become expert in that. In today's time, it's quite easy, I think. You find something what you are passionate about and start reading about it. And then make it a habit. Read it every day, something on that topic. Let's say you want to become an expert on innovation, let's say, or you want to become an expert in how to mend broken trust. When trust is broken, how to repair it. Any topic, anything, and then you read about it every day. Every day you read something about it. Read the books, read other speakers on that topic in your free time. And over a period of time, you will start gaining knowledge on that. Uh, it takes time to become a little expert in that because you need to have some practical experience also. But just by reading and reflecting and sharing your thoughts with other people, you think about those things. And but there should be something which you you like, you want to focus on something. uh, you don't need to know every all the, like, you do 30 courses in undergraduate, I think, roughly speaking. And every there are different topics. In every course, it's like every course has different topics. I'm just not even asking you to pick a course and become expert in that. Just pick some topic and try to some topic which is close to your heart, which is not work for you, which you want to just know more about. There must be some topic. If something is not coming, don't worry. Maybe you never thought about it. Just go back and scan through your courses and see which topic is interesting, which is more close to my heart. Even in human resource, what is in that human resource, what aspect I like to read about, and then just start reading about it. And it will be easy for you because you are interested in it and you want to just read on this on that. So I think you should do that. uh, yeah, good, thank you, that's it.